Hey everyone, welcome back to the garage for a long overdue restoration. We're going into uncharted waters on this one as I'm going to try and restore this antique Miller Lock Company padlock. Not only have I never taken apart a padlock before to know what's inside and what I'm getting into, but it also looks like this one, there's a broken off key stuck in the lock, so we're going to have to make a new key somehow or another. The Miller Lock Company had quite an extensive catalog of locks, varying sizes and strengths. By the looks of it, this one at one time was brass. Now the coating is pretty much all worn off. My first attempt to grind down the rivets and use my punch to pound the rivets out didn't work out so well. I'll find out later why. I had to grind all the rivet heads off and pry the lock open. Of course, prying the lock open, all the inside parts shot everywhere when I pulled it apart, so now I gotta figure out how to put it all back together in the right places. And yep, there you see it, falling out of the tumbler is what's left of the original key. I think we can use that and make a new one. Yep, just as I thought. Using the wire wheel on the case of the lock, there's really nothing left of the brass coating that was once there. Which is okay. We're going to give it a whole new look anyways. All of the inside steel components are going to get a nice coat of cold bluing that'll protect them from any future rust. And a nice little coating of WD-40 will help that bluing set. Here's a shot from one of the original Miller Lock Company catalogs showing the lock that I have and what the original keys look like. We'll try and get close. I happened to find a piece of steel lying around, and I traced the outline of what was left of the key onto it. The only trouble is this piece of steel was a little too thick and I would have to thin it down. Fortunately, I didn't have to. Looking around, I found an old hacksaw blade that was just the right thickness, so I used that instead. And also learned that you can't cut a hacksaw blade with another hacksaw blade. So out comes the big gun, the grinding wheel. Now on to the task of remaking the rivets. These rivets were special because they were thicker in the middle, and usually that was an outer sleeve that went over the rivet. I don't have access or a way to do that, so what I'm going to do is just make new ones out of an old nail that I have, and I'll just file down the ends so they fit through the lock shut. You can see here the original rivet that went into the lock and the new one that I'm fashioning out of a nail. I have 4 of them to make. Now starting to put the lock back together, I have to peen over the tops of the rivets on the outside of the lock. And this brings us to the dilemma that I have put the lock back together. The way the pins were fashioned, the lock has to be put together first and then painted, as opposed to the other way around, painting the outside and then putting it back together and peening over the top of the rivets. If I painted the lock first and then put the rivets through and peened the tops of them, then I run the risk of chipping the paint, and I don't want to do that. Based on some trial and error and a lot of time spent trying to put the lock back together, seeing how all the pieces work, I think I managed to figure out how all the parts go back together. I really had high hopes for a glass-like finish on the lock once it was painted, but it's really tough to get that look from a rattle can of spray paint. And it actually turned out so bad with the orange peeling on it that I had to strip it and redo it again. So what you're seeing is the first attempt at painting. Alright, a little bit before and after shots of the lock. Thanks again everyone for stopping by the garage. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like button, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We'll see you on the next restoration.